This is the YoRo Perspective Show. It was your turn this time.
Sorry.
So our question today comes from Ms. W. My gut feeling has been on high alert recently, telling me there is something not quite right, but I can't seem to put my finger on what specifically is making me question everything around me. Any insight? That's a really good question. Do you want to take it?
Sure, I'll take it. Okay. The first thing I would recommend, because the question was, do you have any suggestions?
Any insight?
Any insight? Okay. Okay. Yes, I have lots of insight. So the first thing that I would look at is it's easy to look at your environment and look at your environment as though it's affecting you. When sometimes we need to look inside or feel inside, and I'm going to use the word feel instead of look, because I believe Ms. W mentioned that she's feeling, right? Okay, so we're feeling. So we're in the feeling state. So it's going to vibration. This is how I do my work. So when you're in a state of discomfort, there is a vibration or a frequency that's happening that isn't resonating to how you're resonating. But sometimes that's inside of you. Sometimes it's not outside of you coming in. Sometimes it's actually just inside of you. So what would I do? Get to know the feeling. Go in there. Get comfortable again, because she's uncomfortable, right? She's not in a state of what we call equilibrium. She's uncomfortable for whatever her reasons are. It could be a person causing it. It could be her environment. It could be something inside of her that she's making up. It's certainly her perception of what's happening. So my insight would be look inside. You can do this with meditation. You can do this with Bach flower remedies. I work with Bach flower remedies. They put you back into mental and emotional states of equilibrium. I won't go into what remedy that I would recommend, but because that would entail more of a questioning process and getting to know Ms. W and what is really happening around her and inside of her. But getting back to a state of equilibrium, breathing, doing some breathing exercises, that gets you back into a state of equilibrium so that you understand better what this discomfort is inside of you. And from there, it just sometimes becomes dismantled. It evaporates. It no longer exists. It's no longer a truth. Or sometimes the truth is in your face, and you can then deal with it because it's not a mystery anymore. It's not a mysterious, overpowering, oh, what's happening to me? I'm so uncomfortable. I don't know what to do about it. That's my take.
Okay. My take is, and those who know me and love me will get a kick out of this, but my take is snap out of it. No, kidding. It's easy to say that. It's easy to say that. I agree with Yo 100%. It's usually something very internal. The only problem is not everyone has access to Bach flower remedies. And if you don't, it's a good way for you to really get in tune with what that is and search it. And I'm sure you can find a practitioner near you. But where I'm concerned, what I would do is, if I were sitting one-on-one with Ms. W, is I use a lot of techniques, and sometimes it's very hard for people to really go deep inside because it's a scary place, okay? No one really wants to go deep inside. There's lots of, old emotions, and things just make you doubly uncomfortable. So I use external tools, and one of the things I do is I journal. So how do you journal? Well, there's tons of ways to journal. But one of the techniques that I love using is something called dialoguing. And what dialoguing does is it allows you to put into words a conversation between you and what or who is bothering you. And it sounds trite and it sounds silly, but it's really not. And once you get used to doing it, it's really quite helpful. So the idea is that you take a piece of paper or notebook and you personify that thing that's bugging you. So in Miss W's case, it would be a conversation between her and her gut. Her gut, which is basically your solar plexus, is that place in your body that is one of the first places to feel discomfort when something is not right. And usually you know exactly what it is, but you don't want to face it, so you start pushing it down. And a lot of people use other things to distort that feeling. But what writing does, or this journaling technique, is it forces you really to put into words what it is. So, for instance, you would start with me, Ms. W, whatever your name is. Hi, how are you? And your gut might respond, I'm not really doing all that well. And then you just go back and forth. Now, you have to do it for at least 15 minutes. And it's, like I said, it sounds silly. And you think, oh my gosh, how can that possibly help? But once you get into the rhythm of having this conversation, what it does is it really frees up your brain to get out on paper that thing that's really bugging you. Because we always know what it is that's bothering us. If we think we don't, we are kidding ourselves. But when you see it in black and white, it takes on a completely different effect. So what will happen is you will look at it from an objective standpoint and say, oh my God, I didn't realize that's what it was. And you can do this with anything. So that's one technique I use. You'll hear me say this a lot. Meditation, of course, is key. And journaling is a form of meditation. So if you're not comfortable sitting around in the lotus position, with soft music in your ears or umming or whatever, not everybody is. I use creative things like drawing or coloring. That's meditation. There's so many ways, but I would use the dialoguing technique to get deep and say, okay, gut, tell me what it is that's bothering me because I don't know. And the answer the gut will say is, yeah, but you do, and you're ignoring it. So that's my perspective on how I would answer that particular question. That concludes our first question. I hope you enjoy it. If you have any comments, good, bad, or indifferent, and please be kind, leave them in the comment section below.
High vibration words.
Yes, we like high vibration words. Anyhow, this is Ro.
This is Yo.
And thank you for tuning in to the YoRo Perspective Show.